All righty, we're live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How's it going? It's 8 o'clock. It's just about that time to get started with the webinar. Absolutely pumped for this one. How you doing, everyone? People filtering in already. Wow, that's a lot of people coming in. How's it going, guys? Say hello in the chat. Let me know where you're at. I think we've probably got quite a wide variety of people coming in. We'll just hang on and make sure everyone's coming in. The count's going up by the second, so we'll hang around and wait to see how we're getting on. But good to see you, Sam. Thanks for coming. Karen's in. How you doing, Karen? Louisa, Kev's on board. How's it going, Kev? Good to see you. Thanks for the shout out earlier. Polly, let us know how you're getting on today. How's everyone's day been today? I've had a crazy day today, getting everything sorted out for this webinar, but I'm so looking forward to presenting this stuff to you. Absolutely pumped. Just hang around for a couple of minutes while everyone gets comfortable. We're numbers going up as we speak, which is great. Loads of people joining us this evening. Mark, how's it going, Mark? Lolly, Faye, Alan, James, Graham, Barry. Adam's in. Simon's in. As long as there's a Simon in, it's all good. How's it going, guys? Up to 86 people already. Fantastic. How's it going, Rod? Kins and Mandy, Tony, Jay, Mohammed. Tuna, long time no speak, my friend. Good to see you. Chris is in. How's it going? Of course, Simon's there. He's always there. All righty. Hi, Lucy. Hi, Tim. Same old, same old. We'll see what we can do about that, Nick. All righty. Hi, David. Good to have you on board. We're nearly up to 100 people. Fantastic. Billy, how's it going? All righty. So can everyone see the screen in front of them? Can you see a graphic that says Wholesale Live Training or Wholesale Training Live? Just let me know that you can see and you can hear me all right. That'd be handy. Faye's husband is also watching, and he's called Simon. How's it going, Faye's husband? We've got plenty of Simons then. We're absolutely fine for Simons. It's good to know. How you doing, Charlie? You're welcome. Simon Gardner's in. Another Simon. David, John, I can't keep up with it. Yes, all good, all fine. Yeah, all good, excellent. That's what I like to see. Malcolm says, I see you use cookies, but where are they? I'm afraid I can't quite get the virtual cookies over to you, but it's worth asking. Mohammed's on board. Rhonda, Nick D, loud and clear. Awesome. That's great stuff. All righty. So we'll just hang around for one more minute and we'll get started with this session, because I know some people take a minute just to load up and click through from their email. But what an awesome evening we've got in store. We've got a Q&A at the end as well, and all sorts of cool stuff. We've got a special guest with us as well, which is quite good fun, and you'll be hearing and seeing him a little bit later on. Okay, James says, can't hear anything, or hasn't it started yet? I would say try and log out and log back in, James, but if you can't hear anything, then that's probably pointless. Everyone else is seeing is okay, so it's probably just you, James. There should be, like, I think, isn't there a reload button or something like that, or refresh that you can hit? Maybe try that. John says, will this video be uploaded to YouTube? I'm hoping there will be a replay available, John, but with this type of live thing where it's streamed live across the interwebs, you can never be sure. If there's a slight loss in signal, then we don't always get the replay coming out as we'd like. But fingers crossed, we'll have a replay for you and we'll get that uploaded for you when it's all done. Thank you, Helena, for putting that in the chat for me. And that's appreciated. There is a button that says reconnect there. If you have any connection problems, hit that and it should refresh it for you and you should be back in the game and you shouldn't lose out on too much. All righty, we're at just about 4 minutes past now, just coming up to 5 minutes past. So we will crack on as we are now. And if anyone is a little bit late, they can join in as we go along. Bit of housekeeping for you this evening. Obviously, a lot of people joining in and wanting to learn about wholesale. If you've got any questions, make a note of it for me and I will answer it at the end. I won't always be able to see the comments necessarily. So if you just make a note, I'm going to answer every single comment at the end. Any questions? Jack's in. How you doing, Jack from Edinburgh? Good to see you. Thanks for giving us a shout out on Instagram the other day. I appreciate that. It's always good to get a bit of community participation. Alrighty. So let's get cracking then, shall we? Alrighty, so we'll get into the slides coming up. So this is how it's going to look for this evening. Why wholesale? Why me? Why am I doing wholesale? And why we think it's worthwhile doing. Most frequently asked questions. And my 3 wholesale strategies. Okay. Alrighty. So to begin with, let's get this out of the way. It's a bit of a legal disclaimer, so no one sues me on the interwebs. No income guarantees. Okay, guys. The content presented this evening is for information and education purposes only. There are no guarantees that you'll make any money, any earnings from this information. The success of your own business is 100% down to you. I'm not a tax or legal advisor, so professional advice should always be sought in any matters regarding your business and its legal position to trade. Any information presented here is my personal opinion, and I cannot be held responsible for anything you may do in your own business. Hopefully, that will be fairly obvious. Okay. So I've got some people saying they're freezing and breaking up. Does everyone still hear me okay? Just give me a loud and clear if we can still hear me okay and see me okay. That would be handy just to make sure everything's all right. Okay, so we have here a little bit of a bonus, especially for the full session legends. Okay, I want you to hang around right the way to the end of this training, okay, to get the most out of it. So if you take the time to hang around all the way to the end, I'm going to give you a bit of a bonus in the shape of a free resource. Okay, so for those of you that stick around to the end of the training, giving away a special download resource that will help you get wholesale supplies. I'll give you more information about that as we go through. It will be more relevant as we go through the training, but it's a very useful downloadable resource and it will give you a bit of help in actually gaining some wholesale supplies. So if you hang around right to the end, there's a lot to get through. If you do that, then I will certainly give you that as a bit of a bonus, a bit of a prize for being a legend and sticking around all the way to the end. All right, we've got loud and clear after you reconnected work fine. Okay, that's fine. So we know what to do. If there's any breakup of sound, just hit that reconnect button and we'll be good to go. So why wholesale? Well, here's the thing, guys. This is the reason why I think you should be doing wholesale, because online arbitrage is changing. If you're doing online arbitrage at the moment, then you probably know what I'm saying when I say it's not as easy as it used to be. I've been doing OA for over 5 years now, probably that sort of thing. Since then, there's more competition. Here's the thing. What you used to be able to do, I don't know how long you've been doing online arbitrage or if you have been doing it, but you used to be able to find a product that has a good profit on it. Let's just say it's got a 50% return on investment. You could order that product, get it into Amazon, and when you got that listed, there will still be 50% return on investment on that product. And that almost seems like the rarity now on how things go, because the competition is so fierce. It seems like every single man and his dog has got the same product as you, and there's always competition and real pressure on those profits getting squeezed. And this is the issue. And it's not just competition; it's the type of people that are coming on there, newbies starting up with maybe a little bit less experience, who don't really understand the process, and quite often they'll tank those prices. And that is the issue with online arbitrage at the moment. The prices are unnecessarily getting floored and the profits are getting squeezed out of perfectly decent products, and it is an issue. So less profit margins, brand gating. Obviously, we don't know if Amazon are going to be doing any more brand gating. They could possibly do that in the future, which is obviously going to be an issue. Now, if you are a wholesale seller and a brand gets gated, one of the restrictions, what they'll do is say you're no longer allowed to sell this product, but if you supply a wholesale supplier invoice, you'll be able to sell it. So if you're a wholesale seller, you just send them your invoice to show them that you've got a wholesale supplier, and they unlock it for you, and you can sell it. So not only are you able to sell brand gated products, but all the OA inexperienced guys are locked on the other side of it, so they can't. So you got less competition, but you'll still be able to sell it. So it's like a win-win situation. Brand gating becomes from a negative into a positive, which is pretty awesome, to be honest with you. And the other thing that is a bit of an issue is big retailers are disappearing. Obviously, we all know Toys R Us are no more, Tesco Direct and Maplin. So the pool of resources is diminishing as we're going through, which is also a bit of a problem. So this is the issue with online arbitrage, but wholesale fixes online arbitrage so that the competition is sorted, the profits are sorted, the brand gating becomes a positive thing rather than negative thing, and the suppliers, there are way more suppliers available to you in wholesale than there ever would be with online arbitrage. You've obviously got a set amount of websites you can use, but suppliers, literally, there's a wholesale show on, a trade show on next week. You may be familiar with it, called the Spring Fair. If you spent 5 minutes with each one of those suppliers, you wouldn't get around there in 3 or 4 days. There's just so many to choose from, so many options. As I said, the brand gating isn't an issue. In fact, it's a positive point. The profits, now here's the thing. There's always competition, and there is competition with wholesale. It's not some nirvana of a place that once you get into, everyone's happy and holding hands and singing. Obviously, there will be some issues with competition, but you'll find the competition are professional resellers. They're big business, and that means they don't act emotionally like you will find with some of the more inexperienced OA sellers. So you won't find these items getting absolutely tanked, and someone who is worried about maybe missing out on their overheads and then just having to be the cheapest no matter what. That doesn't happen like that. And in the worst case scenario with wholesale, if you're up against someone who will not match the buy box with you and will keep undercutting you, there will be a point where if you decide to compete with them, there'll be a point where they stop, because they're a business and they will have bottom lines and they'll have the minimum amount of profit they may take. And that may be 15%. And at least you know you're not going to go end up with £1.63 profit when you know you're always going to get at least a certain reasonable return, because they're in it for the profit. That's all there is to it. There's no point doing it unless there is a return. So you'll have a more stable environment with wholesale, and being able to get some returns where you're not putting all the effort to source a product, send it up to Amazon, and then you just end up with nothing, and you're wasting your time, which is difficult. So right, so a little bit about me. Why should you listen to me? And a lot of people have come through and might not know too much about me, so let me introduce myself. Obviously, my name's Andy Lawrence. I've been selling wholesale online for over 12 years and helping people build their own businesses for over 10 years now. So if you can see top left, that picture there is little fresh-faced Andy circa 2008. There I was in my hoodie talking about wholesale. The first video I put online was in 2008 on YouTube, and I've been helping people build their own online businesses on eBay and on Amazon ever since. As you can see there, there's some better pictures as we move on, but there's a picture of me in my office, and then there's a picture of me in the warehouse. So this is me in my office for 3 years. I got an office with storerooms, and to be honest with you, quite quickly ran out of space. It was up to the ceiling with stock. It was a great place. It was in the center of my hometown, a beautiful location, and it was fantastic. But comes a point when you've got more boxes and you know what to do with, you've got to move on. So I upgraded that situation to a warehouse where I can get the truck right outside the door, wheel it in, and start storing and breaking down stock. So it just makes life so much easier. It's just a totally different scenario to either being at home or being in an office. You've got infinite amounts of space and able to spread yourself out a bit. So that's me. I've been doing it for a while. I've kind of picked up a few things along the way, and I've also developed a passion for helping people. And once I started getting feedback from people that I was helping, that I could actually make a bit of a difference in their lives, then it became a bit of an obsession. I really enjoyed interacting with people and helping them build their own businesses. And so for the last 4 years, I've been creating events in London. This is in Kensington in London. I've been creating FBA Academy events. Have been fantastic fun. And one of the best things I do in a year is to organize these events. So if you recognize anyone top left there, you might be able to see Mike Resendez. That's AKA Reezy Resellers. I don't know if you know him from Instagram and YouTube, a bit of a reseller legend. I flew him over from the West Coast to speak at my event for 2 years running now. He brought his entire family over last summer, and it's just always a blast. It's great fun. We learn a lot, present to people, and we get to socialize and network and learn from each other, and it's just absolutely fantastic. So that's my passion, and that's something that really I get a lot out of. To be able to make any sort of difference in someone's life is just so satisfying and so gratifying to me. It's just, yeah, it's why I do it. I love it. It is a big passion of mine. So I wanted to share that with you. So why I do this. So everyone has their own reasons for what they do, and you need to find yours. I mentioned this in a video not so long ago. It's easy to get into something for the money and to start. It's a good idea. You're going to make money. So you get into it and you learn it and learn all about it. And then it gets busier and you do more. And you kind of, you know, you need to have a purpose for something. You need to have a direction and steer something in the direction you want it to go. Otherwise, you're just busy, and just being busy is not the end of there's not the purpose. You know, the business should be a vehicle to get you where you want to go, and not just to have just another job, because you've probably got a job. And you don't need just another job. But if you can build a business which allows you to do what you want to do and is more of a vehicle to do that, that I think is the most important thing you can do. So if you don't have a clear plan of action, then that'd be a good tip to begin with this evening, is to really get clear on your motivation and where you want to take your business to actually what is it to have more time with your family, freedom from the 9 to 5 routine, the commute, to be able to not worry about hitting that alarm clock every morning and just get up when you wake up, or less stress. Is your job stressing you out? Do you want to get clear of that, or just to have no more money worries? There should be a reason, and everyone's different. You know, it doesn't have to be the same for everyone, but I really think it's a good exercise to be clear about what you want and where you want to go. It really does make a difference. For me, it's always been world travel and being location independent. I love to travel. I can't get enough of it. I love to meet new people and have new personal connections. It's just something I really enjoy, and experiencing more of life. And my business allows me to do that. So that is pretty much why I built the business all the way at the beginning, is to enable me to have a business which I can operate from different parts of the world, and something that is relatively, I can automate certain parts of the business to help me do that. So just a few pictures here of illustrate the world travel thing. I pretty much get around different parts of the world several times a year. That's South Africa, Côte d'Azur down at the bottom there. Yeah, and I take my laptop with me, and I can still work, but also experience more to life, and really just feel the grass beneath your feet and the wind in your hair and all that sort of stuff. It makes a big difference to me, and it's very important. As you can see here, the big one in the middle with my my two legs there, we are overlooking Monaco. That was the beginning of Q4 I pretty much set up my business for Q4, and we cleared off to Monaco and the mountains above Monaco. And it's below us there. You can just see the tops of the trees, but right down by the coast there is Monaco. It's about 5 minutes drive down the mountains from there. It was beautiful. And yeah, that's where I wanted to spend my Q4. And then we went down and spent some time in Monaco itself. It's a nice thing to do. I enjoy doing it. So that's just to give you an idea of my passion and what I like to do with my business and how I make it work for me. So in this section, I want to quickly move on to the most asked questions. Hopefully you've got a bit of an idea about me, why I do this, why I think wholesale is important, and why I think we can move on to wholesale and make more of a use of it as a reseller community, because I think there's a lot to be said for wholesale, and it really feels like a stepping stone. If you've really got the handle of OA or RA, I think wholesale is a natural step. If you really understand using the data to your to full effect and making good buying decisions, then you're going to be, wholesale is really where you want to be. So some most asked questions. These are the top 3 questions I guess I get asked day in, day out. And so there's a good chance that you might want to know some of these. So I thought, let's get started with the training with some of the most commonly asked questions, and we'll go from there. And we'll get into my wholesale strategies that I think you should be getting into. So how much money do I need? Well, that's kind of like asking how long's a piece of string, because if you have lots, obviously you can buy more, make more buying decisions, and potentially make more profits. So obviously the more the merrier. There has to be a limit. You have to have a budget that you're comfortable with. If you're already selling and you have a buying budget, then that would be useful. You could start technically with £200. There are some wholesalers which will have minimum order quantities of maybe £100 or £200. So potentially you could use that little, but it will take a lot longer because you'd have to wait till all those items sold before you could reinvest that into more stock. So it would be slow. If you had a few £1,000s, it would be a lot easier because you might be able to make quite a few £500 orders, for example, which might make the cash flow a bit quicker, because obviously the more you have, the more cash flow you have, the more opportunities you can take and go in and out from. So that's it, really. More the merrier, I would say. A couple of thousand and you're good. Really, 5,000, you're doing all right. You're in a good position if you can get to that stage. So that's what I would suggest as much as possible. If you have to, make it work with a couple of hundred. But realistically, you may as well just continue with online arbitrage at that stage and keep reinvesting your profits in online arbitrage until you maybe have a few £1,000s in profit. And once you've got to that stage, you can then maybe move on to wholesale, and it would be slightly easier for you. So that would be the plan on that. So how much space do I need? Well, this is another difficult one. You expect wholesale to need massive warehouses and things like that. But I spent a reasonable amount of time running my wholesale business from home in the garage. It's not a problem as long as you've got, let's just say, the space of a double garage or even a single garage. You could probably get away with, to be honest with you, as long as you've got enough space to get maybe a couple of pallets and enough room to break down those pallets and maybe sort of process them into smaller lots and to get them up to Amazon. You could get started with that. Something the size of a double garage is definitely easier. Then you've got room to store the pallets as well as have a processing area. But there are different options. You don't necessarily have to go from home to a large scale warehouse. There are options in between. You can rent a container. This is a modern thing that's happening these days. People have storage containers, 20-foot and 40-foot storage containers, and they'll rent them out. You can get them for as little as £70 to £100 a month. You can get a lot of stock in there. They're usually very secure, and they're in secure environments as well with gates and cameras. You may find there's someone locally, or even farms are a great place. A lot of farmers are diversifying, so you can get storage units there at reasonable rates, and they're usually pretty secure as well. So you don't have to go from zero to massive storage. You can slowly move up, and as you expand your business and as you scale, you can obviously reinvest in bigger space and more bigger environment for you to operate in. But it doesn't need to be massive really at all. So where to find wholesale suppliers is the $1 million question. It's the one that I get asked the most, bar none. 10 times a day is the $1 million question. So I thought that would be a good place to start for my 3 strategies that I want to show you and help you understand in the next coming few minutes, so we can sort of really get an understanding how this is going to work for you. So here are my 3 wholesale strategies as focusing on how to find these wholesale suppliers and make use of them. Okay. Strategy 1, something I've been talking about for an awfully long time. Trade shows. There's a reason they're still the most important place you can go to get wholesale supplies. If you go to a trade show, you're going to get wholesale supplies. Simple as that. There is one next week. The spring fair is on next week. Go to the spring fair in the Birmingham NEC. You'll get wholesale supplies. All right. Do that. So that's the one thing I want to say to you. Trade shows are the place to be. They will help you understand more about the business. You can speak to people. You can build relationships, make personal connections. And let me tell you, once you start getting below the surface and really listening and building relationships with people, crazy things happen. Honestly, you'll be surprised. Just be open, talk to people, and things come up. People start talking, things will come up in conversation, and all of a sudden somebody says, oh, so-and-so has been looking to get into Amazon. Can you help him sell his stuff and this, that, and the other? And then you'll be surprised at where you end up with. So be open, listen, build relationships. So what you need to do is firstly, look for some trade shows. There's lots of different trade shows available around the country, different industry trade shows. You've got pet industry trade shows, clothes industry trade, jewelry trade shows. There's so many different trade shows on every year. Birmingham NEC, a lot of them are all in the Birmingham NEC. There are ones at London Olympia, XL. There's some up north as well. There's plenty to choose from. 99% of them are free. There is no reason, apart from a bit of your time and a little bit of fuel money, there's no reason why you can't get to these trade shows. And let me tell you, it will be a big deal in your business if you can do that. So number 1, make sure don't discount trade shows. Get out of your comfort zone. Maybe you're not that comfortable talking to people, but let me tell you, this is more relevant now. The download that you're going to get if you hang on all the way to the end is some script frameworks that I set out specifically to talk you through this process, because I know not everyone is comfortable talking to people. You might feel a little bit self-conscious. You might not know what to say in a business-to-business environment. Are they going to take me seriously? Yada, yada, yada. So I've created this script framework, which will just get your head in the right place, talk you through what to expect. And I've even written down a script of how a conversation might go. Now, I'm not expecting that you actually say this word for word, but it gives you an idea of how a conversation might go, how to steer that conversation in your favor, and how to maybe be a bit more comfortable when you're there and having a conversation, if you kind of have an idea what might be said. And you can take a few snippets from that if you want and throw them in there. If the conversation dries up and you want to say something, then you can do that indeed. So if you hang on to the end, I'm going to give you that. And it's worth having a look at, because I think it will be very useful. You can take it with you to the spring fair next week. You can download it and bring it with you in your hand and say, right, I'm going to get myself some suppliers, and you will. And that's what it's all about. That's a good way to make a start with your wholesale business. Strategy 2, a static business website. This is a big deal, okay? Create a simple one-page website with a professional sounding trading name and some contact details, okay? Because one thing that a wholesaler will do is check you out online. They'll just look you up on the internet to see what you're doing, and if they see a static website and there's a website on there with the business details on there, it doesn't have to be all singing, all dancing. It doesn't have to be an e-commerce website, but just something that corresponds to what you've said. So if you create a matching business card with your trading name and job title, and then they can then Google that website address, and that will bring up your website, and it will correspond with that and give you the same details, contact details, email address, with the same domain name. It will look professional, and showing people that you are a professional is a massive part of this. If you have struggled to get wholesale suppliers in the past, becoming professional and getting a professional look will make a massive difference. And here is a huge tip for you down at the bottom that will make a massive difference. On your job title, it's your business. You can have any job in the business you like. You own the business, okay? Give yourself a title like head buyer or purchasing manager, because automatically it's just what happens when someone looks at a card and maybe you're the purchasing manager, someone will create a bigger business in their mind. If you have a position like that, there must be other people in the business, yada, yada, yada. It will create a perceived notion of a bigger company, and they will take you seriously. So this is the sort of thing, these little tips will make a big difference. So create a simple website, your details, match up with your business card, and if they make a quick search, then they're going to find you. And don't worry that it's not an all singing, all dancing website, because there are a lot of business to business companies that have placeholder websites to give their contact details, because they have subsidiary businesses that have trading in different sectors, and they don't have time to have lots and lots of different ones. So they have one with the contact details on. They will expect that. They've seen it before. It will be enough, but it will create a professional image. So give that some consideration. It's something that you can do to give yourself more of a professional look. And when you give your business card at the trade show, you're going to be more confident about having a conversation with that person and telling them. The other thing is you can come up with a trading name. Okay, it doesn't have to be, in the UK, if you're just a sole trader, you don't have a registered name that is registered anyway. You can have a trading name of whatever you like. Okay, so if you can come up with a name, I don't know, just something professional, like I don't know, the Garrett Partnership or Garrett Trading Partnership, or there's so many different ones. My mind's gone blank now. I've come up with hundreds over the years as examples. I can't think of one now, but you get the gist. Come up with a generic sounding business name that sounds professional, but doesn't tie you to one particular niche. Okay, because if it's Kev's fish shop, for example, and you might want to expand into jewelry, then you might struggle with Kev's fish shop. But if Kev's something else didn't have Kev on it, it would probably be a lot more professional, like the Blackburn Partnership, for example, or many other different configurations. But there are many that you could do. Just be creative and create that ethos of professionalism as you go through, because that will make a difference when you're there and you're talking to them. And the appearance, that's the main thing. You've got to make them understand that you're there to do business and you want to be taken seriously. And that will stand you in good stead if you can do that. All right. It's a big deal. Strategy number 3, subscribe to trade magazines as well. Massive deal here. Trade magazines in every single category you can think of are available. They're free. They're almost always free. You just have to find them, subscribe to them. Let me give you a bit of a show and tell here. I don't know if you can see this. Here's one. It's a big, heavy one because it's a Christmas special or January special. This one here is a trade magazine. It's huge, and it's got lots of different suppliers in it. It's got industry news. It's got news about upcoming trends. It's got news of other fairs. This is a toys and playthings. And this one has got a review of the Toy Fair 2019 at the London Olympia. So it's got all the stalls there as well. It's got suppliers on it. This on its own is like the Bible of wholesale supplies. You'll have details of wholesale suppliers here, and it will give you ideas of upcoming trends. They're going to be talking about trends coming next season, so you can keep an eye open for things developing before they're even on Amazon. Okay, so these are a goldmine of information. If you Google toy industry trade publication, you will find things like toys and playthings. If you Google pet industry trade publication, you'll find another one. Register your details. They will send it to you to your door for free, and you'll have a resource full of a lot of very valuable information. You'll find out more trade shows, more suppliers, and this is business to business. You won't find these suppliers on Google. They don't advertise on Google. They don't advertise. They work business to business through trade shows and trade catalogs. That's where they are, and that's where you need to find them. Okay. So if I've got any notes that I've missed here, they'll give you the details and the new products and brands and trends coming into the market. They often know about them the season before. That's a massive tip, guys. If you can get ahead of something and see something before it develops, it's a huge, huge deal. You get on something, even if you just create the listing yourself, but it might not even be on Amazon by the time you get it. Create it yourself. Okay, the competition will come in, but the sheer volume you'll be able to move on something that, these people put a lot of money into adverts on TV and on the internet. These are big brands, and when they launch something new, they're going in. There's going to be a lot of money dropped on it, and so when these guys launch something, there's a good chance it's going to be in demand. And if you're the one that's on there first before everyone else, it's good. So don't discount trade magazines. Have a look, search them up, get as many as you can, and pour through the pages, find out what you can find. God, I love the smell. Was it the smell of magazines? Oh, it smells amazing. Is it the printing ink or something? I just love the smell of magazines. Maybe that's me being a bit weird, but yeah, that's it. Trade shows. I don't know if this is in my presentation, so I'll just show you as we're doing show and tell at the moment. This is also a big deal. This says the little black book, in case you can see it. This is the directory of who is being who's going to be at the trade show. So next week at the Spring Fair, this is everyone going to be at the trade show. Okay, everyone listed. Even if you couldn't make the trade show, if you register for it, it's free to register for the trade show. If you get this book, you could just Google everyone in this book, find the wholesale suppliers details. Every single person in this book is real, reliable. You're not going to get scammed. They're a proper business to business company that are spending good money to be in a trade show. It's not cheap to be in a trade show, and they're spending good money, and they're there, and they've got something to sell you. If you speak to them, even if you can't make it, you've got to start. You've got somewhere to start with. There's nothing better than actually meeting face to face and having a conversation. But second best, you've got something like this, you're laughing. If you need old-timey walking sticks, you're good. You're good to go with this little black book. Everything, every industry you can think of with the spring and autumn fairs. You've got the beauty industry here. You've got garden and wildlife range, outdoors, toys, jewelry. You name it, it's in here. Homewares, it's just immense. And let me tell you, if you get into the trade shows, you get the trade catalogs, you get the industry magazines, you will have more wholesale suppliers than you know what to do with, that you can shake a proverbial stick at. And then it's just a case of getting them to take you seriously. And that is all about practice and practice. And the great thing about a trade show, you know what you can do at a trade show? There's many, many, many of them. If you spent 5 minutes at every different stall, you wouldn't get around all of them in 4 days. There's so many of them. So if you went there and said, I don't know, maybe I'll say the wrong thing, or maybe they'll end up asking me a direct question that I don't feel like I can say anything other than, yes, I'm an online seller. And what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen? They might say, no, I'm sorry, we don't work with online sellers. And you go, okay, yeah, thanks very much. Have a good day. And they'll say, yeah, bye. And then, did you die? No. There'll be many, many others to choose from. And so some conversations will go well. Some of the conversations won't go well, but you lose nothing. You lose nothing. There are so many there. There will be conversations that will go well, and you'll get a wholesale account, and you'll be able to use that wholesale account, scan through the offerings, cross-reference it. If you do OA, you know what you're doing. Cross-reference that data with what's already on Amazon. Find the ones, check the price. You're off to the races. This is what it's all about. You've got to find those wholesale suppliers, have conversation with them, get them to take you seriously. And once you get into the practice, you get into the swing of things like, yeah, I know what I'm doing now. You know what they're going to ask you. You know the sort of things that they're interested in, and they know what they're expecting. You can be more confident because the type of people that are coming to them are people working for another company. They're buyers. They do this day in and day out. They're comfortable. They're confident. That's what you need to be. And if you're not, then it might come across and it might not go so well. But you've got nothing to lose. Practice, get used to it, get involved, come out of your comfort zone, and you will be rewarded handsomely for doing that. It's a massive deal. So that's what I would suggest. But just make the effort, because once you just imagine this, right? You get a wholesale supply. You go to the trade show next week and you pick up I don't know, 5 wholesale suppliers as a result of going around and speaking to different people. Out of those wholesale suppliers, maybe you might find maybe 15 lines or 10 lines, say 10 lines that are going to be profitable for you. You could potentially come back from a day out with 50 profitable lines that not only are profitable, when they run out, you can get some more. How about that? You can do a replenishment and get some more and make more money next month, and then make some more money. And then you go to another trade show or look up a contact in a industry magazine, and you get some more contacts, and you find another 5 more. And then suddenly you've got 60 and 70, and they're all being replenished. And then you've got a business where you've got much stable business. With online arbitrage, you're only as good as your last deal. The pressure is there to constantly get more deals, more deals, more deals. And there is a lot of pressure there. There's a lot of stress there. Wholesale is stable. You have the stability to build upon it. Okay, some lines may go off the boil, but more often than not, you'll be able to get more and more lines, build up, scale, and get to a situation where you can have more and more suppliers. You're going to build your business, and you can be in a situation where come Q4 you can load up your store, you make extra large orders, load it all up and check out and go and sit on the beach and sip something refreshing. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? We're here for a good time, not a long time. Okay, that's a bit cliched, but you know what I mean. That's, this is what it's all about. There's no point just building another job for yourself. Build a business that is going to work for you, because just being busy is, what's the point? If you want to be busy, there's lots of jobs that will pay quite well with a bit of stress and being very busy. So build something that you're going to love, that will make you want to get up in the morning, and get out there and find these things. So, appreciate it. If you're asking any questions, by the way, I can't actually see the comments, so just make a note of them and we'll go through them at the end. I'm going to get a bit of help to go through and help me ask the questions for me as well. So we're going to cover all your questions at the end. Don't worry about that. I got you covered. We're going to spend as much time as we need on your questions. So some more things to think about. Alrighty, I use these strategies to build my wholesale business. All right, I use them every day. I'll be using that next week at the spring fair. I'll be there. If you're going to be there, give me a shout, say hi. It'd be good to see you. You can action one or all of these strategies to start your business straight away, as in tomorrow, tonight, or next week at the trade fair. You can make a start, search for these trade publications and find these wholesale suppliers. That's what you need to do. I have a lot more to share with you though, but I don't think we're going to get through it tonight. We're 43 minutes in already, but it's just not possible. There's a lot more advanced techniques and things like this. It's not a particularly, there's a lot more to it, as you can imagine. So there's going to be a big chunk of you that want to know the more advanced stuff, the whole nuts and bolts and the step-by-step process and everything else like that. So what I've done is I've put together a 5-week course that will cover the whole process of building the wholesale business from like zero to large-scale strategies, from the point where you're starting up all the way through to automation and getting to the point where you can step back and have your business in a large scale and start doing the things you want to do. So let me show what I put together for you here. Okay. I hope you can see this is quite small. So what I've done, this is a 5-week course. Okay, so it's 5 modules, 1 module for each course. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through these principles. We're going to have these different videos, and this is the content that I've created for you. And at the end of each module, at the end of each week, we're going to jump on a live session, and we're going to go through the action steps that I'm going to give you step by step every week to build your wholesale business. Okay. So the wholesale principle supply chain, I'm going to whiz through these quickly because there's a lot here. Okay. So module 1, the wholesale principle and supply chain. Okay. 3 secret strategies to get wholesalers to take you seriously. Such an important point. You have to be taken seriously. Presenting a persuasive and professional image. Really, really important. You have to have a professional image or it's not going to work. I'm going to give you a step-by-step tutorial to build your wholesale acceptable business website in less than an hour. So I'm going to show you exactly how to build that. It's very simple. Get all those things in the right place to have that website ready for you. And then 3 business card hacks to help you have that business card match up with your website and then have everything ready to go to the trade show. And then we've got the module 1 action steps. So that will take you through what to do step by step for module 1 to get through that week. All right. And then we've got module 2. So this is week 2. We're going to go into advanced deal analysis. You have to make sure when you're spending a bit of money, you have to make sure your deal analysis is on point. I'm going to show you exactly how to pick your wholesale deals so you don't end up with a dud. If you're buying 3 items or 6 items, they don't work out so well, it's not a big deal. If you buy 60, it's more of a problem. Deal analysis, very important. Finding replenishable stock, no more one-time only deals. I'm going to show you exactly how you need to do that. Perfect focus. Here's the thing, perfect focus and ultimate mindset. Guys, this mindset is the biggest thing. This could be the biggest part of the entire course. Mindset is everything. And if you get your mind right, I can tell you, you're going to build a massive business here. And it makes a massive difference if your mind is in the game. So this could be a massive point for you. There's some really interesting stuff in there. And then you've got the action steps for week 2, where we'll go through and show you exactly what you need to do to complete module 2. Then module 3, squeezed it in down there, just about liquidation supplier strategies. Okay. Liquidation suppliers are different. You've got different strategies for liquidation suppliers. I'm going to show you what I do, totally different to the wholesale strategies and probably different to anyone else who does this. Okay, I've created this myself, and I've created a lot of these strategies over the last 10 years, and these are paid off for me. Okay, 3 of my very best strategies to gain new wholesale suppliers. Hardly anybody knows these. I've made this up. All right, and I've never heard anyone talk about these strategies, and I'm going to be sharing with you during module 3. Building long-term connections that pay dividends over the years. Connections, relationship, massively important. We're going to spend some time talking about that. Very, very important. Negotiation strategies. Get them to say yes more often and pay less for it as well, which is pretty decent, more profit for you. And then you're going to go through the action steps of module 3 to make sure that you cover all the bases. On to module 4, unlocking profitable new markets, additional high profit strategies, low cost wholesale storage options, the secrets of shipping pallets to Amazons. We're going to scale up at this stage. Wholesale scaling options. What options do you have? Large scale on a small budget tactics. Freeing yourself from your business. This is important. Once you get your business running, you need to get out of there and enjoy the fruits of your labor. Run your business 99% on autopilot, and then the action steps will break that down for you. Module 5 into the 5th week. My secret weapon wholesale strategies. These are really things that have been my secret weapons for my business, and this is going to be a major module here. How to find exclusive off-market deals. I'll explain to this in more detail, but this is a major thing and something I've been developing in the last year, and it's paying real dividends. Zero competition. All right, that's all I can tell you in this right now. You're going to be creating Amazon listings with zero competition. It's a big deal, and there's massive money in it. Hybrid wholesale strategies, combining different systems to create even more profit. And then we've got, again, this is things that I have. These are strategies I've created myself. Liquidation stock strategies and wholesale domination module 5 action steps, which will show you what to do as you go through here. So this is what I've put together for you to actually really build your business from start to finish. If you have not ever done online arbitrage, there's no problem. I've got you covered. I'm actually included in this course, going to give you access to my FBA Academy online course and videos, which will take you from zero, from knowing nothing about selling on Amazon, all the way up to understanding deal analysis, being able to read the data, make effective data decisions every single time, and then be able to implement that into scale your business. So if you've not done anything on Amazon before, you're going to get access to that first. You can work your way through that in your own time. Then you can get started on this. I will be here for you whenever you need me. That's it. From, that's what it is. This is not just a 5-week course. Okay, I am always on hand going forward. So it's just a bit of an overview of what you're going to get. Not only the 5-week course, that's at the top of it. On top of the 5-week course, you're going to get lifetime access to a private students only Facebook group. So I'll be on hand to offer ongoing coaching and support. So any questions you got, I'm going to answer that, and we can help each other build our businesses as we go along. Weekly live coaching Q&A calls as we go through at the end of each week. As I've said, we'll actually get through, ask me anything you need to know about the work subject that we're doing as we go through it. And then lifetime email support. So this is not just a 5-week course. Once we're through the course content, you will always be able to contact me. I've got people that I've taught how to build Amazon businesses 3 years ago, and they contact me, and I'm always happy to help them. That's the way it is. If you're a student of mine, you're a student forever, and I'm always happy to help, whatever it is. Well, not marriage advice, but you know what I mean. To do with if it's to do with generally Amazon or online selling, then we're good. Bonus. All right, here's an awesome bonus for you. Okay, if you order before Sunday, you're invited to join me at the NEC at the Spring Fair on Thursday, the 7th of February. I will be there, and if you join the course before then you can spend the day with me. We can walk through the halls of the trade fair together. I'll give you some advice one-on-one while we're there. I'll show you what's going on, and it's going to be awesome. So if you can't get there, don't worry. It's kind of a bonus. There are lots of strategies that you can use to find wholesale suppliers, loads more actual events coming on around the country and things like that. So don't stress it if you can't. But if you can make it on Thursday, the 7th of February, then if you are someone who's going to jump on this, then you'll be more than welcome to spend the day with me, and we can do it together. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let me tell you, I'm really looking forward to that. So if you fancy it, that is an extra bonus for you. Alrighty, so some Amazon courses are priced at £5,000 generally. I've seen a few at that sort of level. Some others at 2,000. I think that's fair enough. There's quite a lot of work involved, to be honest with you, but I want to help as many people as possible with this course. So I've priced the whole course, including the Facebook group access, the weekly coaching calls, and the email support at £997 plus VAT. Or if you don't have all the money at once, you can do 3 installments of £359 plus VAT. So I've tried to make this as available to as many people as I can. That is my aim. Ultimately, I want to help you build your wholesale business. I need the time to be able to go through and break this down with you, and to make it to a point where I can actually spend that time. Then I think that's pretty good value to be able to do that. Obviously, I want to give you a 30-day money back guarantee. I want to take all the risk of this one. Okay, I want to help you build your business. Ultimately, that's what I want to do, to help you achieve your goals, or whatever the goals you want to set for yourself. That's what I want to help you do. It's my passion, and that's what I love to do. But if you're not happy for any reason, I'm not going to twist your arm. I'm not going to make you jump through any loops. You don't have to write me any letters or anything else like that. Any reason, no questions asked, you're not happy, I'm going to give you your money back, okay? That's it. Just ask me. I'll give you a full refund, and we can be friends. I don't want your money. If you're not happy, I don't want your money. I want you to be happy and build a business. Because anyone that takes this course, I want you to be an ambassador for my course. I want to build the best course I possibly can and have the best students, the best kick-ass wholesale students that are building profitable wholesale business. So I can say, hey, look at me. Look at all these people that I've helped. That's what I want to do. So that's what I'd like in the course. So that's it. Within 30 days, I'm going to give you your money back. Is that it? Oh, special guest time. All righty. So we're nearly at the hour stage, but we're going to do all the Q&As. Any questions that you have asked or any questions you've got to ask, we're going to do. Oh, look who it is. It's our special guest. It's, ladies and gentlemen.
Andy. So Andy, before we carry on, I've just noticed you've not put an order link up.
Oh, no.
You've told them the price for your course. You've made me want to buy the course, but there's no order link.
Oh, no. Let me do that for you now. Oh, my man.
Hi, guys. I don't know if you know who I am. I'm Matt. I'm Andy's buddy and an online marketer. So I'm here to help him with the Q&A.
Okay.
And I've been moderating. Not that you fine people needed any moderating. You was all really, really nice. So
there we go. Can you see that? Can you see that on there now, Matt?
No.
Oh. All right.
No, I can't.
Can shout me out in the chat if you can see that. Anyone in the chat? Can see the chat now.
Can anybody see an order link?
If there should be an order link there. If not, we can manually paste it in the chat.
Did you not put it in the slides?
No.
Okay.
All right, we can do that. But let me know if you can see the order link. It does say that it is available on there, and it does say add to cart. So yeah, got it. Excellent. Yep, can see it. Great. All right, great. Lovely. Thanks, guys. All right, so Matt's going to, yeah, must be just you, Matt. So Matt's going to help me answer the questions and get stuck in with that. But yes, he's already introduced himself. If you don't know Matt, he is an awesome online seller. This guy's made a serious moolah online with online arbitrage, private label, you name it. He's done it. He knows a lot of stuff, and he's my mate, and he's going to help me, which is cool. So let's get started. That's no worries.
Right. As we've been going along, Andy, I have actually been pressing. If people have been wondering why in the chat box they've been getting a little weird red thing next to it,
right?
It's because I've been clicking it as a question, so we don't forget any questions, and we're going to go through literally every single one of them.
Cool.
Obviously, the new ones I've not managed to see yet, but right. So let's start right from the first question that I saw, which was from Gid, and Gid asks: most suppliers say no Amazon right when you start the conversation, though. So it wasn't a question, it was more a statement.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do quite often. The issue that most people get, they ask someone and say, I want to sell on wholesale on Amazon. Can I get your wholesale account? And they say no. I say, oh, okay. Now what? You've got nowhere to go. It comes down to putting out a professional image. As I've always said, you have to put out a professional image. You have to think outside the box. And this is the one thing that everybody does. They say, okay, I need wholesale supplies. I want to get into wholesale. Get into wholesale, make a few inquiries, and then they say no. And you say, okay, I can't get into wholesale. I'm going to go elsewhere. So that's what happens. One, be persistent. People will say no. That's going to be a thing. But some people will say yes. And that is a bigger thing, because you need 1, 2, 3 people to say yes. You're going to be making serious money. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that, to break down those barriers, to turn those no's into yeses, to maneuver yourself, to get yourself to look professional and to be persuasive and to be comfortable in that environment where, especially when you start getting to wholesale trade shows, then it's going to be a lot easier. You're going to break down those barriers. But yeah, people are going to say no, and there will be people that say no. So you have to get used to that. But with my help, I can get them to say yes. And that's all we need. You only need a few.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'll tell you what, when I first started looking into wholesale, I was one of those people that kind of just decided, it wasn't so much because they said no Amazon sellers or anything like that. It was more the fact that they said I was reaching out to wholesalers in Google, and I was just finding rubbish wholesalers that were no margins. They're more expensive than the stuff selling on Amazon and very similar price. So definitely no margin in there. So I kind of wrote wholesale off a little bit. And then the more I spoke to you and the more I've kind of been around in this kind of niche of Amazon selling, the more I've realized it's not as easy as just posting searching on Google. There's a lot more to it. I think you opened my eyes to that in a big way.
Absolutely, because the thing is, Google's the easiest place. It's when everyone goes for everything. But I'd say the majority of people on Google that are putting advertising in that are trying to get your attention are not worth looking at for two reasons. Firstly, why are they making such a fuss? Because this is business to business we're dealing with. They operate through trade publications, through trade shows and things like that. That's how business to business goes. You know, businesses don't do that. That's not how they work. So if they are, quite often what they are is actually large retailers that are buying from other wholesalers in maybe large amounts and then just selling it for less. So you're not going to get very good value to begin with. You'll find a wholesaler and it's not much cheaper. If it is, it isn't much. And secondly, every other man and his dog will be trying to sell that stuff. So the competition will be out the door. You're not going to make any money. You're wasting your time. And that's it. A lot of people do exactly the same thing. You're not alone, Matt. Most people do that. And it's like, no, this is not going to work. So you're just looking in the wrong place. It's cool. I'll show you.
Well, what I eventually came up with is the easier it is to find, usually the worse the deals.
Oh yeah.
Find, the better the deals.
Big deal,
and obviously you don't deal with the easy end of it, do you? You deal with what everybody else sees as the more difficult end of it.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be worth it. That was one of the little relationship meme I saw, but it works really well with wholesale. That's the whole point. You know, some of these strategies I'm going to show you are totally off the grid. They're like, is that a thing? It wasn't a thing. I made it up. But once you get a thing, if you get one of those suppliers that is really hard to get hold of, that you would really find in a random place, then no one else is going to have it, or a lot less people. So you're going to have the place to yourself. There's still a lot of uncharted territory in wholesale and with Amazon, and a lot of space gives you a lot of breathing space with a lot less competition, let me tell you. So that is a big thing. The harder they are, the more worthwhile they are getting. So yeah, it's a big deal.
Cool. So Mark said, Andy, thanks for your help. Do you have employees or work it alone?
Yeah, I've had casual labor. I've had employees in the past, but to be honest with you, I prefer to work it alone. If I need it, I do have help. But my sort of setup is quite stable. I can think ahead of where we are at any given time. If we're going into a busy period and I need help, I've got help on hand. But the most of the time, I've got enough of a buffer at Amazon where I can just keep ahead. My business is relatively stable, so I can just put it in as and when I need it ahead of time. So I'm never rushing, if you see what I mean. There's a big buffer, and I can watch the market as it moves and the sales velocity as it moves up and down throughout the year. As things get busy, I can keep on top of it. Here's the thing, retail arbitrage, you need lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of lines to make that work, because you're getting lots of little bits of money. With wholesale, and you've got more money, you need less lines. So it's less admin, less work. And basically, yeah, it's less work. You're going to get more money for less work. That's kind of the business model that I always try and look for, is more return for your input.
Sounds good to me. When we're used to a world of penny under reprices, and then you're actually talking about profit.
Yeah, it's actual stuff.
Yeah. So Andy, I don't know if it would be worth turning screen share off so our faces can be big. I don't know if that will scare some people. Or I think if you just turn it, there we go. Hey, hello. Now you can see Andy's face. He's beautiful.
Yeah, don't look too closely. That's an HD camera. Don't look too closely.
I was gonna say, yeah. Luckily, I've got a MacBook Pro, and the cameras are rubbish, so I can be beautiful when in fact I'm not. Right. Norby says, "What if you don't live in the UK?"
Well, you can do this in your own. You can do this in your own country. Obviously, if we're talking about specific wholesalers, then they might be UK based. Certainly, the ones at trade shows and trade magazines. But there's no reason why you can't apply the same techniques. They will have industry trade magazines in your country. This is how business works. This is how the retail sector works. So it will be the same in your country. The suppliers might be different. The locations will be different. If you're in the US, I think there's big convention centers in Los Angeles and the major cities in Las Vegas. There's going to have big events there. And yeah, you'll be able to find them. Don't search for the wholesalers, search for the events and search for those type of things. Go to the events, make the connections, find the wholesale suppliers, make loads of money. Go and live on a beach.
There's been some awesome fire. That's so. I know you probably take it for granted, but there's so much fire and so much good gold nuggetness in that last sentence or two. Right. Brian says, "Do you need a website to show potential wholesalers?"
I think we've covered that really. Yeah, I think it's a good You don't necessarily have a full featured e-commerce website. We get to that later on, but to begin with, just some web presence is good, just because they'd be like, why can't I find this person? It just ticks a little mental box in their brains, you know. It just helps add the extra level of professionalism. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Gid says, do you outright say to the brands you want to sell on Amazon for them?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you don't do that. That's the worst thing you do.
In your course, I suppose you break down exactly how to approach them.
You don't. That's the worst thing you need to do. That's why you get into a problem. You're not suggesting that you make it up, but you want to swerve that comment at least until later on, because the first thing you need to do is build a relationship. You need to have a chat with someone, and the first thing that people always do is they start with, I'm an Amazon seller, can I have an account, to that degree? And it's almost always no. Some people say yeah, okay, but a lot of them will say no. So you need to get around that. You need to start talking from other angles, maneuvering around, find what it is that they need to get the account, because once you've got an account, you're through the gatekeeper. They have a certain procedure. And once you're through that, they don't care. If you're making orders, they could care less. But you have to get through that first bit. And I'm going to show you how to get through that first hump. That's the important part. And there's several different ways and things you can do. Obviously, you don't want to be outright dishonest. That's not really fair. But you can present an image that is favorable to you. And just being straight out blunt is going to put too many walls in your own way. So, yeah.
So I've got a question for you, Andy. How come you've been doing wholesale help since the dawn of time, since like 1902, and you've never put out a wholesale course? This is the first time you've put out a wholesale course in all that time. Why?
This is a very good question. In fact, you asked me that we were having dinner last year and you asked that question. I went, yeah, I don't really know, to be honest with you. Here's the thing. I've been helping people start Amazon businesses for a long time, and a lot of people go from zero and like, I don't know what to do. So I help them, I break it down and disseminate it to a point where they can understand how the whole process is going. And I've been loving doing that for so many years. I've been running my own business as one thing, and I've been helping people online as another thing. And I must admit, you asked me that question, I didn't have an answer for you. I don't really know. And so that kind of sparked the idea that I need to put something together, because there's so much to learn. And you take for granted what you've built up over 10 years. You take it for granted, you know, but until you start putting it down and thinking, yeah, you know, this is important stuff. So that's pretty much it. Is I probably should have done it earlier, but I've been helping people get started. I've had a lot of success at that. I've helped a lot of people over the years go and quit their jobs and start moving online, and it's been very rewarding. So, you know, it's a big deal. But yeah, I think I owe it to those people now. There's a lot of people that make good money on Amazon. I need to help them move on a step now and say, okay, let's go from making good money to making a lot of money, and push the boundaries a little bit.
So would you say, is it fair to say that this is not a replacement for online arbitrage? In fact, you're actually giving away the FBA Academy course as part of this package, which is teaching them online arbitrage.
Yes, that's right.
It's not about replacing online arbitrage. It's about actually taking things to the next level. So if people are already doing online arbitrage, this is the perfect addition.
Yes, exactly. If you're already doing it, this is probably the next level. You know, I've still got online arbitrage interest. I'm still teaching it. It's still working, but I'm suggesting you can add this to it. You know, you're going to be in a much more comfortable, powerful position if you've got your risk spread across different areas. Because if anything does happen to online arbitrage in the next few years, it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen overnight. It might happen in the future. If you're in wholesale as well, you're going to spread your risk, and you're going to have more profit as well. So that's the thing to do. But if you're starting from scratch and you've never done anything on Amazon, the thing to do is to take my FBA Academy course first and understand the principles, because you need to get practice of understanding how Amazon works and how to assess the deals and analyze the data and the sales volume and this sort of thing. And then once you can do that, you can then go on and take this part of the course, but you're going to get it as part of it. So, you know, I usually charge £395 for that online course. So you're getting a lot of value there as well. So
you're getting that course, $395, and you're getting this course, all for $995 plus the VAT. What I loved what you said is you get to spend the day with you at the Spring Fair if you're all before Sunday, which is cool. The Spring Fair on Thursday. Did you say this Thursday coming?
Yeah, this Thursday coming. I think you're going to come along with us as well, aren't you, Matt?
Absolutely. Me, Holly, and Beck are going to be there. So if you end up jumping on Andy's course, you can actually spend the whole day with Andy. Andy's showing us all the ropes, showing how the wholesale game works. And me, Holly, and Beck will be along for the ride. So we'll spend the day with you. It should be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it.
I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a great day, and what better to be able to socialize, have some fun, meet each other, and also do some business as well. Couldn't be better, right?
Huge power. Imagine a day with Andy. Andy's been doing wholesale for like over a decade or whatever, and you're going to get to spend the day with him. Imagine how much you can pick his mind and stuff. And it just so happens that we're there as well. So
absolutely. Gids just reminded me, I just caught out the corner of my eye. Gids just said, what are you including free at the end? I forgot. You're still waiting for the free script framework. That's really important. Let me explain that. So let me just bring that up as well. Where is that?
Whilst you're finding that, Andy, I found it interesting in the group. Somebody called Wholesale something unicorn. What was it? You saw it. What was it?
It was Wholesale is the something unicorn of the
Amazon unicorn, was it, or something like that?
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, that was quite funny. And someone else called it the holy grail of arbitrage as well. So that's pretty cool.
Which is true, and that's how a lot of people see it. I think so many people write off wholesale because they're just like, well, they've tried it, it doesn't work because there's no margins, but you're doing it all wrong. And this is the point. You've got to follow a strategy and a system that very few people know. But when you do it and do it the way Andy teaches it, then it kind of it wipes out your competition. Your competition disappear, which is why it's like online arbitrage 2.0. It's for people that either want to sell on Amazon and really are up for building this business, or people that have been selling on Amazon for a while and ready to take it to the next level. Anyway, go on, Andy. Sorry, go for it.
No, that's fine. That's very good points. All I was going to say is, on your screen now in the chat section is the free framework script. Thanks for hanging around this long. Just click the download there. You'll be able to get the PDF document. It's going to go through with you some ideas with what you can do to actually download that now, because I'm going to take it away and put the offer back up again. You can't do them both at the same time, it seems. So download that now, and you'll be able to take that with you to the trade fairs, and it'll give you a really good insight into what you can start having conversations with suppliers and how you can make a start with that dialogue. So it's going to be a very useful thing. I'm going to take it down in 10 seconds. So just grab that, click download on it, and you can take that away with you. But yeah, have you got any more questions?
All right, yeah, there's loads more questions if you want to take them. So you could leave it up for a minute or two, and then
I'll leave it up for a minute or two, and then we'll take it down.
If you want that download, guys, go grab it.
Yeah.
Right, Gid says, do you outright say to the brands you want to sell on Amazon for them? Hang on, we kind of asked that earlier.
We kind of asked that earlier, yeah.
Gid, why won't they just do FBA themselves?
So, okay, that was probably when I was alluding to the fact of maybe off Amazon deals. So there's obviously different strategies, but some people, there are people out there that are making good money with their own branded products that are not selling on Amazon. They don't have time, they don't have the inclination, they don't know how to do it, they don't have to understand how it all works. And ultimately, there are plenty of people out there that are in that situation that just don't want to be dealing with it. So there are strategies that you can actually take other people's products and manage them for them, and actually be the designated Amazon seller and give you exclusive access to their product. That's a thing that I have done, so I can prove it works with people if you position yourself in that way. So it definitely can be a thing.
Mike says, if you only have, say, 5K to invest, only have 5K to invest into wholesale, surely when talking to companies at trade shows, they won't take you seriously. So he's saying, if you've only got 5K, they won't take you seriously, when in your experience, they'll take you very seriously at that kind of level.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, they're not going to say how much have you got to spend. That's not the conversation you're going to have. Minimum order quantities will start at £150 upwards. Don't forget, in the retail industry here, these people are used to dealing with shops. Sometimes they're dealing with small independent shops, and they might only be making £200, £150 orders at a time, but they're making repeatable, regular, replenishable orders. So in that respect, they're going to take you seriously. It's a business to business deal, and that is fine by them. If they might have minimums of 500, fine, no problem. Some of them might have minimums of, I don't know, what's 2,500. Some of them are 5,000 that I deal with, but you work up to that. That's fine. You don't have to go into those ones straight away. But yeah, that's certainly plenty of accessible options down in the lower echelons. That's for sure, and they will take you seriously.
Yeah, I suppose the point is you don't have to deal with 1,000 wholesale suppliers all at the beginning. You can find 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 wholesale suppliers that do deal with smaller kind of minimum order quantities, or whatever you call it, minimum what would you call it? Would you call it a minimum order quantity?
Yeah, MOQs.
So smaller people that kind of you can get your foot in the door, and then the beauty of it is you've got less competition and more margins, so your money and your capital should grow quicker outside of those easier to find retail stuff or normal everyday store stuff. And then you build up. So you go from, say, maybe a £500 minimum to like or is it, what's your average lower end minimum? Is it 200? Is it 500?
Yeah. There's loads are £250. Loads of them are 250. Yeah, plenty. And then you'll find that they're like a couple of £100, and then you might get to some that are 500 to 1,000. But people don't want to limit their business. You know, if you have a lot of smaller customers, smaller shops, it adds up to a lot of money. So yeah, there are a lot of wholesale suppliers that will take that sort of size. Sometimes they'll say you have to buy, if you're going to buy this product, you have to buy, you know, the wholesale packs. So there might be, 20 in that pack, for example. So you might end up having to buy lots of 20, which may mean you end up in a few £100. But yeah, it's really not an issue. A lot of people think that's an issue, and it isn't. As soon as you go to a trade fair, you'll find that out. You don't have to discuss how much budget you have, but you can say, what's your MOQ, what's your minimum order quantity, and they'll tell you. And a lot of the time it'll be relatively low. So it's not an issue.
Well, I'll tell you what, Andy, you cost me some money the other day. Do you know why?
Why is that?
Because you told Holly that at the end of the spring fair, the furniture wholesalers sell off all their stuff. And when I say cheap, it's not 800 quid, maybe it's 200 quid.
Yeah.
She's going to want to rattle me upside down and make me spend at that.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I did do that. Yeah. That is the thing. That's traditionally, I always go on the last day. I mean, it's not for this reason, but it's just I always have done. And a lot of the people that I try and meet up with are always there on the last day as well. So it's a nice tradition that I keep up. And the last day, a lot of people that bring a lot of stock to show you that it's demonstration, a lot of the stock on there. But sometimes just to save them having to card it all back, they'll just put it on offer, and you'll see towards the end of the show people with bags and bags of stuff under their arms as they've bought loads and loads of cheap stuff. So in the homeware section, you get that a lot. If it's a big bulky item, you get a great deal with it. So I'm afraid your wallet might get a bit of a thrashing on Thursday, Kev. Sorry about that.
You just call me Kev. You mean Matt? You're so used to talking to Kev. It's all right. It's okay. Okay.
I talk to him every Monday. It's got hardwired into my brain. Sorry, Matt.
Don't talk to any other men outside of the hall.
I don't. It's a short name.
Yeah, no, all good. So Thursday, we're going to be at the Spring Fair, and that is the last day of the show. So that's going to be cool. And again, if you jump on Andy's course, you get to come with us, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So Georgie says, what is the typical margin for wholesale products or ROI?
So here's the thing. It does move around. I mean, you could probably say 30% is probably typical across the board. What you'll find with online arbitrage, it's either boom or bust, isn't it? Sometimes you'll find amazing 100% ROI, return on investments, but quite often they will get squeezed down to absolutely nothing. With wholesale, they will probably be start lower, but they're always there, and you'll keep cutting, they'll be less attacked by competition. And the other thing that all bets are off, liquidation. We're going to go into liquidation. Totally different deal. Okay, let me briefly explain liquidation. What you'll have is a supplier, manufacturer that has something that they're going to change the box art on. They're going to slightly change the product till next year. And so they always want the next year's products in the shop. So all the shops have the right items. They're too big to store items. It doesn't work. It has to be a very lean flow for their stock. So what they use is liquidators. They have contracts with them. And they say, we will give you this at a ridiculously discounted price and you will take everything. We will tell you what you're going to have and you will take it all. No questions asked. It's a huge discount. They just literally liquidate it. So they will send them off in containers and truckloads and so on and so forth. So these liquidators will have large amounts of like basically retail stock that was on the shelves 3 months ago, and now it's there. It's kind of hush-hush because the manufacturers don't want to devalue their products. But it goes through business to business. You won't find them advertised anywhere. They're under contract that they don't advertise. The manufacturers say, you can't talk about this. You can't say what you do this, and then you find business to business routes for this stuff because they don't want to devalue their products. They don't want to find out that someone, if they say, hold on a minute, my toy here is being sold at this price, but you can get the one with slightly different packaging for 30 or 40% less. No, I don't want that. So yeah, that's what they try and do. So if you can get into some liquidators, then you get much, much bigger margins. And you've also got different tactics, which I'll explain on the course as well, which makes it very interesting. So yeah, lots more opportunities with liquidation.
It is clear that you know your stuff. I'm going to call you Jim.
Why?
Because you call me Kev.
Oh, fair enough. That's fair play.
Cool. So Georgie says, how do you calculate the margin and ROI for VAT registered companies? That's like a tax thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's just standard, isn't it? You obviously you've got to pay VAT. You don't pay VAT when you buy the item. You don't pay VAT. You pay it when you've got to pay the tax man, unfortunately. But yeah, it's I'm not going to answer tax questions. It's that I don't even like answering tax questions when my accountant asks me, let alone someone else. But no, it's pretty straightforward. You know, it's you don't have to pay it back when you do it, so it's no problem.
Helena says, so my business Sassy Cat Sales doesn't sound professional enough.
Well, that's subjective, I suppose. But no, that's fine if you can create a professional image for that brand. If that is your brand that you want to go and say, well, this is the what I'm going to do, then that's fine. But you have to make sure that everything is in place to look right and it doesn't look unprofessional. You have to look professional. That's more important. I'm not going to say that your brand or your shop is unprofessional, but you have to present an image, and I'll show you how to do that.
Yeah, if you're selling luxury watches for men, Sassy Cat might not work, but maybe lingerie and stuff would work, you know.
Yeah, there you go. That's a whole new niche for you.
Nick says, how do you get the magazine, Andy, please? I think when you were showing up one of the magazines or something.
Okay, all right. So the little black book you can get by going to the Spring Fair. If you Google the Spring Fair, I don't know whether you can still get them because it's coming up to the point where the actual Spring Fair is starting. So I don't know at what point they stop sending that out. But yeah, just sign up to the Spring Fair and they will send that out. This is a trade magazine. If you Google toys and playthings, that is a toy industry trade magazine. You can sign up there and get it for free.
Cool. So I think maybe you can pick them up from the actual place. Like, don't they have them?
Oh, yeah. You might be able to get this. Yeah, you might be able to get this at the event as well. There's lots. There's also, I think, what's that? There's a trade newspaper called The Trader, I think, and quite often they'll have bins and bins of those to give away as well. You get a lot of swag when you go to a trade show. It's always good. Bring a lot of baggage with you. If you bring a little aircraft wheelie case or something, because they'll give you a lot of free samples and stuff. So you can really bag up with measuring tapes and pens and rulers and all sorts of handy promotional items that they want to give you. So yeah, make sure you gain the swag and lots of pick and mix as well. If you're a pick and mix man, then make sure you visit the stalls with the pick and mix on it, because they're trying to entice you in to do business with you, so you can get handfuls of pick and mix as well.
Holly's got this weird problem whereby if there's something like free in a bag, she can't say no. So by the end of when we went to the autumn fair with Lewis, by the end of it, it was like these bags were just filled, and she insists on dragging them around until she literally cannot drag them around anymore, and then she has to dump them. It happens every time, but it will go 4 hours before she realizes they need to go in the bin.
It's too much. Yeah, they bring a big case with you, like a wheelie luggage case, a backpack, or they've got a like a left luggage place where you can pay £1 and use a locker or a hanger or something. You could stick it all in there and offload it.
Awesome. That's experience for you. Right. Georgie says many people start with limited amount to invest. If you have, let's say, 20 profitable items that need 20 grand for continuous supply, but only have 3 grand available, do you buy small amounts of all, or do you buy sufficient amounts to sell continuously a few?
Oh, that's a complicated question. No, you wouldn't need 20 grand to supply 20 products. I don't think, that's not accurate. So you grow organically is the answer. If you have a set amount of budget, you buy as many items as you can with your budget. And once you get the profit, you reinvest and you grow organically. The more you have, the faster you grow. The less you have, the slower you grow. That's the way it is, really. But I would, yes, if you've got less, then you need to buy cheaper things to be able to cash flow that business. Ultimately, you don't want to end up, if you've got 500 quid, you don't want to buy two 250 pound items. That would not work. So yeah, like I said, if you've really got small amounts, I would concentrate on the online arbitrage, get your profits up. It's still a good way to make money. So get your profits up to a few thousand if you can. Separate a few thousand of buying budget, and then you can start into wholesale. The more the merrier. 5 grand, you're good to go, and then just keep doubling it up. Don't take the money until you've got a good buying budget, and then you're good to go. Obviously, you've got finance as well. If you have a different attitude to risk, and you can use 0% credit cards, you can do all sorts of things. It all depends on your own personal situations. But that is, I'm not going to tell you to do that, because that's up to your own personal situation. But yeah, you can use credit to buy stock as well.
Simon says, and this is a good question, should your static website trade name be different to your Amazon trade name?
Yeah, that is a good one, actually. And I would suggest you do that, because what you don't want to do is have the wholesaler look you up. If they say, okay, let's see if I can find this guy. If you put exactly the same name as your Amazon store, then your Amazon store is going to come up on Google. And then that will just put you in an awkward situation. So you don't want the first thing that they find when they Google you to be Amazon. So yeah, I would suggest putting a slightly different name. As I say, as a sole trader, you can trade under any name as you like. So there's no problem in creating a professional sounding brand for your business. And that is part of what I show you in the training. It's yeah, that's the best thing to do to avoid that awkward moment where they say, oh, you're an Amazon seller, we don't want to deal with you. That's not good.
Lucy says, do you compete with Amazon if they're on the listing?
No, generally not. If I can avoid it, sometimes it's unavoidable. Sometimes they come in later and okay. But the issue with Amazon is you don't know what they're going to do. Sometimes they'll sit there way off the price, and you can trade underneath them all day long, no problem. And out of nowhere, they'll just come in and slash the price. So it's a bit of a jeopardy, really. And you don't want to be left with a whole load of stock and they're just taking the price by half because they're Amazon. So I would avoid it if possible. If they're on the listing, I would look at other ones. There are plenty where they're not. If they are, then yeah, you're playing with fire with Amazon. But I have several listings where they're on there and they leave me alone. Sometimes they don't. So yeah.
Is that your approach to OA as well as wholesale, or just wholesale?
Yeah, exactly the same. Yeah, if they're on the listing, I try and avoid them. It's just not worth the effort, because sod's law, they'll come and they'll cause problems later on. So, as I say, sometimes you end up buying something and then they move in later on, and for no reason they've just come on a product where they haven't in the past. Happens. Or even maybe they've been out of stock for 18 months and you think, okay, they're out of stock, they're not going to come back in, and then they do. So sometimes it happens, but if you can avoid it, probably a good idea.
Cool. Do you tend to go for slower moving items then, or faster moving items, or what?
I don't go for either or. I go for, probably a selection across the board, but I look at the data. I always look at the data to find my buying decisions. And that was sometimes, if they are slower moving and better profits, I'll still take them. If they are faster moving and slightly less profits, I'll still take them because I'll examine everything at the same time. I'll examine competition, I'll examine price, and I'll examine the actual profit that I'm going to make on that item. So each time I make the decision based on all the entire data, including what's happened over the last 3 to 6 months as well, and the sales velocity across a longer period of time, which will give you a more accurate representation of what's happening now, because what's happening now might be a spike. A lot of people get hung up by, excuse me,
them little price, them evil little price spikes.
Yeah. A lot of people get hung up by what's happening right now, or they'll say, what's a good rank to buy this and buy that, because everything is fluid, everything is dynamic. So, something priced at some point or, in a certain situation might be totally different in a week's time. So you need to look at all the data across the board to make your buying decision. But that is the beauty.
That's included in your FBA Academy.
Yes.
Course. That's included in the course, in the wholesale course.
Yeah,
cool.
And also we go into advanced deal analysis in the wholesale course as well, just to really go into some of the more advanced details about making your buying decision, because you do need to make sure it's right if you're buying more items. So for those that I don't know everyone's own situation, so I just want to make sure everyone's absolutely on point with their buying decisions to make sure they're going to make effective decisions every time, because there's no reason why not, because it's data. So as long as you efficiently process that data, you'll get the right decision. You just have to understand how to do that.
Cool. So Lucy says, what info needs to go on the website?
It's very basic, not very much at all. Your business name, contact address, and an email address, and some very generic details. You don't need too much at all. Simple is best. You can be ambiguous, that's fine. You just want to have a basic placeholder website where they can just check you off and say, yeah, they're a thing. They've got a website here. It is a thing in the industry where people will have placeholder websites. Big wholesalers that do £1 million turnover will have a tiny little website with their basic contact details, because there will be reasons why they don't want to make a big song and a dance about things. So you'll have huge wholesalers you wouldn't even know. You'd walk straight past them because they've got very basic information on there. And that's fine. It's not a problem.
Cool. So Anam asks, what could be the minimum investment to start a wholesale business? We've kind of covered that.
Yeah.
Noah says, is the course staying open or will it close at some point?
Yes, the course is open now for the next 7 days. It's going to close this time next week. So yeah, it's going to be open, and then we're going to get stuck in with actual getting stuck in with the training in detail. So yeah, you've got a week if you need to chat with the partner about it. Have a think about it. It's not a problem, but you will have that period of time. If you want to join us at the NEC, try and get your order in before Sunday, because then we're going to go to the NEC, and that would be really good if you could join us as well. So you'll have a bit of time.
But that's very much a bonus, very optional. Like it was like a last minute thing, weren't it?
Yeah.
It wasn't. So if you're thinking, oh, I can't get to the NEC on Thursday because I'm at work or I've got the kids or whatever, don't think it's the end of the world. That was just like a little bonus. The real value is in the course or a couple of courses and all the live coaching and the Facebook group and the ongoing lifetime support that Andy provides and stuff. Mm-hmm. But it'd be great to see some of you guys. I would really like to see you at the NEC.
That would be cool. Yeah, absolutely.
Mo says, do I really have to do OA first in order to get into wholesale?
Yes, if you've not done it, if you've not done Amazon at all, you need to break your teeth in a situation. The reason why, you don't have to do OA specifically, but you have to understand how Amazon works. You don't want to be you don't have to practice when you have to make orders of £500 or more. If you get it wrong as you're learning and you're practicing, and you order 3 of something and you get it wrong, it's not going to be an issue. You can get rid of it. You can probably get your money back. Or the other thing is, with online arbitrage, worst case scenario, you keep the receipt, you take it back to the store, you get your money back. You have retail terms on there, so you get your money back. Wholesale is business to business. You can't say, I got this wrong, can I have my money back? They'll say, no, you can't have it. So it's better to learn with online arbitrage first. It's all part of the course. You'll get my course, my online arbitrage course anyway, so you can do that in your own time. Obviously, I'm available if you have any questions. I can help you through that. You have the FBA Academy Facebook group that we can ask questions in. There's a great bunch of guys that are very supportive in the FBA Academy group, including Stephen Davis, who's just mentioned something in the comments there, who's a great guy and a great support for me and for my community. So yeah, plenty of support. There's a lot of knowledge in that group. Over the years, I've created a lot of awesome resellers, and they're always happy to help. So yeah, no problem at all.
Interestingly enough, it's Stephen Davies that actually vouched for you to me. He was like, oh yeah, Andy's one of the good guys. He actually said that to me. This was months and months ago. This was last year. And he said, yeah, he is a sweetie.
Thank you, Stephen. That's very nice of you. I appreciate it. I've known Stephen for so many years now. I can't remember when he joined the Wholesale Help community, but it's a long time ago. And,
he said you got into online arbitrage. That's what Stephen told me.
That's right. He took the course, and yeah, he's been successfully doing his reselling business for many years. He's obviously a member of your community as well, and does a lot in your community. So yeah, he's a good guy. Overall, good egg.
He's the man. He's the man, but he keeps threatening to pull my cracker at Christmas.
Oh, God.
This Christmas, we actually did pull a cracker together. A legitimate.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That's slightly worrying.
I know. So, right, moving on. Tom says, is this specific to selling on Amazon, or can it be applied to other platforms or self-owned commerce websites? So is this an Amazon-only thing?
Not really. I mean, yes, in a way, we're focused on Amazon. We're focused on building businesses because we can use the data to harness products, and it's the most straightforward way. We can use the FBA fulfillment system to scale up and this, that, and the other. But we're going to be looking at e-commerce and what you can do with e-commerce as well. So there will be some advanced stuff in there with some slightly different platforms, but Amazon is an amazing opportunity to scale because you make the buying decisions, you process the stock, then Amazon handles the rest. And for me personally, it enables me to be very hands-off with my business at certain times when I can stock up my business, and that enables me to travel and to do cool things. And yeah, so that is the majority. But you can use the same principles in other areas, that's for sure. And we are going to go through different marketplaces that you can use. Once you've bought the stock, it makes sense to use different other marketplaces for sure. But the focus is definitely on Amazon.
Yeah, cool. The thing is, if you can source, you can source, and that's a big chunk of what this course is. It's sourcing in a way that other people aren't doing. So it just gives you that edge on Amazon. But if you wanted to sell on Shopify, or you wanted to sell on eBay, or you wanted to sell at your mum's shop, that's fine. You know, sourcing is sourcing. It's just instead of a pool with 1,000 people sourcing from it, there's a pool with a much smaller bunch of people sourcing from it, because most people don't know how to do this. They've done what I did, Googled wholesale toys, and then they've ended up at Zappies or whatever it's called, and the others, and then you go, I don't know, there's some deals maybe, but there's a lot of not deals. Mo says, thanks, Dave. Dave? He must be responding to someone else. Okay. Unless he's doing what you did to me.
Yeah, that's fair enough then.
How difficult would it be to get suppliers if I am just an Amazon reseller as opposed to a retail purchaser? I have my own physical shop address, etc.
Yeah, I mean, we're all in that boat, and what I'm going to show you is how to get the suppliers despite being the fact that you're an Amazon seller. It would obviously help if you had a physical shop address, but you know, it's not really a viable thing unless you have got some other strategies, which I'm also going to go through on the course as well. But yeah, we're all in the same boat, and it's not impossible. Some suppliers are more allergic to Amazon sellers than others. And again, it's about making relationships and building up connections with people, because when you go there and you talk to them, you look them in the eye, shake them in the hand, and you talk to them, you find out what it's all about. Because sometimes you go have a roundabout thing. You don't talk about Amazon to begin with. You talk about your products, and you talk about this, that, and the other. And then what you end up with is you find their objections, you find the issues they have, with online sellers. And here's a conversation you might have. Well, the issue with online sellers is they crash the prices, they tank the prices down, and it devalues the product. If you devalue the product, then people won't buy the product, or the perceived value is everything. If the product spends too long at $12.99 and the RRP is $29.99, the RRP is meaningless because the price has been down there too long, which means the perceived value is now then £12. So that's what they're afraid of. If you have a relationship with someone and you ask them, what about this then? If you had an exclusive deal with someone one person that sells on Amazon, he is your dedicated Amazon seller, you won't have that, will you? Because there's no competition. No, I guess not. So that could be a thing, couldn't it? Well, I suppose it could be. And then you're having a conversation with two people, just having a conversation about what could happen in the future. Because you're having a relationship, you're having a connection with someone. There's no way you can get into that conversation through an email or something like that. But you can be in a situation where you've just overcome the main product problems with online sellers and given them a solution. What are they going to do now? And some of them are going to go, well, okay, we'll give that a go. Maybe we'll try it for 6 months, see what happens. Boom. You're now in without any competition and you're the sole exclusive seller and no one else has it. All right. That's good. So there's a way of doing it.
Cool. Okay. No, I'm going to try and fire through these because I'm realizing there's a lot to scroll. Okay. Norky says, when can we expect, or what can we expect to make in whole? A lot of it doesn't make much sense to me, Norky. I think they're saying, what can they expect to make in a first year with a 5K budget?
Oh, how long's a piece of string? It's very difficult. It depends how much you can rotate that stock, how much you can turn around, this, that, and the other. You know, there's various different things. You need to just, with 5K, you need to reinvest. And, you know, at some point you will have a decent amount of money, but it does depend. If you buy something with a 50% return on investment, you're going to be better off than something with a 15% return on investment. So it's impossible to say, but the more money you have, the better. Keep reinvesting, scale, build as many contacts as you can, and you'll get there. Cool. That's all I can say about it.
So Dave says, what sort of turnaround time should I be expecting?
Turnaround.
I think he means like from buying the stock to sending it into Amazon to it selling.
Okay, so again, varies massively depending on the sales rank, the sales velocity of the product, various different things. Sometimes some things you make this decision before you buy it. Some items might be slower sellers, but you're going to make 100% ROI. So you can say, okay, I'll buy them, I'll send them in, they'll sell in their own time, and I'll make good money from them. So I will do that. Other items will sell very fast, but have maybe a 15% ROI. That's fine because I'm going to sell loads of them. That adds up. I can keep replenishing them, no problems at all. So again, it all depends. You make your decision when you make your purchase. I'll show you how to do it.
That's what I like to hear. It will show me how to do it. Yes. Matthew says, do you sell in the United States market?
No, I just sell in the UK. The US is a totally different platform, and I don't sell in the US.
Cool. Faye says, will everything you have spoken about tonight be covered again at the Online Arbitrage UK Summit, or will it be different info, more in depth?
I'll definitely be providing a lot more. I'll have more time to talk about the stuff well, hopefully Matt will give me enough time to talk about some of the tactics. So I'll definitely be giving you some more tactics at the event for sure. But if you want the entire course, if you want to know it step by step and have my help to do it from start to finish, you need to take the course.
So just to let everybody that doesn't know what we're talking about know. Yeah. Andy's a speaker at the Online Arbitrage UK Summit. So it's a new event that we're putting on. I'm actually arranging it and organising it, and Andy is a guest speaker there. So you'll get to come along if you come to that and see Andy speak on stage, which will be amazing. Hopefully it'll be really buzzy atmosphere and really fun. So that's what
I'm looking forward to that. I'm flying in from South Africa the day before for that. So it's going to be crazy. I'm literally going to get off the plane and get straight to the hotel. So it's going to be crazy.
Nice. I feel bad because you was meant to be coming back like a day later, weren't you, or something?
A couple of days later, yeah. I sort of curtailed my break for you.
So Andy's going to be there, which is going to be cool. Looking forward to it. Mike says, would you buy stock first or get authorized to sell from Amazon gated products?
Yeah, obviously, I wouldn't be buying stock until you're sure you can sell it. So you want to get ungated. If the stock that you're looking at is gated, then you need to do that. And Lucy wants a link to the event if you can find that while I'm talking, Kev. So yeah,
call me Kev again.
Why do I keep doing that? The more I say it, I'm going to be in ground. I'm never going to never be able to get it out of my head.
You need to speak to people other than Kev, I think.
I think it's a thing. I need to. My word, I've got a problem. Okay. So yes, you need to get yourself ungated if you're looking at specific items that are already gated. Get that done first, and then you can order. There's plenty of stuff in categories that aren't gated that you can get started with. But yeah, the other thing is quite often what Amazon want for you from you to be ungated is wholesale invoices. So if you're already getting wholesale supplies, then you can provide them with wholesale invoices. So you'll find you'll get ungated and a lot of other categories a lot easier as well. So yeah, there's that.
Right, so there's the link on the page. There's not an actual web page for it because it only got put up like 2 days ago or something like that. So it's all happening so quick. It's the 6th of April, and you can go to facebook.com/online arbitrage UK-summit, I think. Or if you just go to Facebook and search for online arbitrage UK summit, you'll get it there. And yeah, there's early bird tickets available at the minute. It's a steal. It's a bargain. You need to be there. It's going to be
yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Right. Heard most suppliers will only deal with registered companies. Is this correct? John says.
I'm not entirely sure what you mean by registered companies.
Limited companies.
Oh, limited companies. Okay. Yeah. No, I haven't experienced that. I mean, no, I don't think that's ever been an issue. I don't think they mind too much about that. I've seen very rarely a few people expect people to be VAT registered, but again, not that many people. It's really not that a big deal.
Cool. Right. Matthew says, do you have a brick and mortar store?
Me? No, I don't. I've had presence in high streets in the past, which has been useful. Well, we're going to go into that. I've had an office in my local town, which is quite useful to have an address in a high street, but I've never had a brick and mortar store. No.
So Helena says getting a company registered is easy, and she's right. If you needed a limited company, it's like 15 quid or 50 quid or something. We use rapid formations, but there's loads of them.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Suresh says, in your experience, what do you think is the main objection with wholesalers, distributors not working with e-commerce Amazon sellers, considering their ultimate goal should be to maximize sales? Yeah, what is really the problem that they have? What? Go on.
Yeah, I touched on that just a minute ago. The issue is a lot of wholesalers are very old-fashioned companies. They've been doing it for a long time. Before the internet was a thing, it's kind of it's almost taken them by surprise, if you can imagine. They have a very specific route to market, and it's kind of thrown everything on their head. The shops are dying out. They're getting less from their usual client base. They're getting way more from online. They don't want to deal with them. They've had to because they're getting way more business from online sellers. So it's kind of begrudgingly they've had to do it. And what happens that they're mostly afraid of is devaluing products and tanking prices, is the competition that sends a price to having a RRP of $24.99 and ending up being $8.99, because the manufacturers spend an awful lot of money creating these products, manufacturing them, advertising them, branding them. It costs a lot of money to bring a product to market. They have their RRPs. They know what they're going to make on that product. By the time it gets onto the market, if too many online traders have it in their hand and that price goes down to $8.99 and sits there for too long, the price will no longer, whether they like it or not, the RRP will no longer be $19.99, $24.99. It will be $8.99 because everyone sees it that. It remains that. The new perceived value will be that. You've totally ruined that product for them, and it's a problem because now their retailers in the shops are trying to sell something for $24.99. What are you going to do? Oh no, I can get that for £8 on Amazon. Ruined it. They're not going to sell anything, which means they're not going to buy anything from their manufacturers. Big problem. That's what they're worried about, and that's what you have to overcome.
Very eloquently put. I like it. So, well, I don't like it. It sucks, but like,
it is what it is.
Yeah. Suresh says she's referring to, or he, I don't know, I'm not sorry, Suresh. Unga Bunga proof strategy, Matt, lol. I think it's a he. If it's a he, I'm so sorry. But yeah, Unga Bunga proof strategies, she, he. Sorry. They're referring to a video where I did that, where I was talking about penny under prices being Unga Bungas, like cavemen in people.
Oh yeah,
right, that's what
it. An Unga Bunga proof strategy.
It's an in joke, the Unga Bungas.
Okay.
Andy, although there won't be any in jokes now, I've just said Suresh, woman or man, I don't know. I think the in joke will be Matt, I hate you.
Yeah. The joke's gone.
Yeah, the joke's gone. Sorry, Suresh. Andy says, how are you rating eBay at the moment?
eBay is slow. I started on eBay too long ago to remember. Suresh is a dude. That's good to know.
Okay. I knew it was a joke.
You knew that, obviously. No, I started on eBay a long time ago. It's where I started online, and I developed a lot of my wholesale strategies on eBay, and it's been great. I must admit, I've almost entirely come off eBay now. It's dwindled a lot. I'll always check it as a routine. I'll check to see as I'm bringing in stock. Sometimes there'll be an abnormality and something selling when on eBay. Happy days. It's another marketplace. More eyes on your products. All good. But it's not once what it was. I think Amazon have stolen a march on them, and not only they've taken a lot of their traffic and their customers, because these days it's just easier to buy on Amazon. It's, you know, where you're going to get it the next day. It's quick. It's easy to navigate. And you know, if you search for a product on Amazon, you've got one product page, you press one button and you're going to get it. Your money's already set up. On eBay, you've got to sift through 15 different people, check their feedback, see if it's fake, do all these different things. It's a problem. You know, I think it's difficult. It's difficult on eBay. There's some niches that do really well, and some people are still making good money, but a lot of stuff is hard on eBay now, to be honest with you. It's a difficult thing.
Well, I think a lot of people like say eBay's like gone to crap, but it's like, I think it's still got something like 200 million active users. Don't quote me on the numbers. I don't know what it is, but I think Amazon's is something like 2 billion active users, something crazy like that. So it's like, you know, it's a bit, yeah. I think it's still a viable marketplace, and for some niches it's good, but in your experience, not so good. And you've
not compared to Amazon. You put it next to Amazon and it's not. And also you've got the back end strategy of being able to let them do the fulfillment for you, which is a massive plus. You know, if you've got to fulfill all your stock and you build a massive business on eBay, unless you can have someone help you with that, then you're kind of tied to that business a lot more than you are with Amazon. So that's a big thing for me.
What about big and bulky on eBay? Would you say that's different? Are you talking mostly about small and light?
Yeah, small and light. But I mean, yeah, it is. To be honest with you, it's just the whole model of Amazon lends itself to building and scaling, because you've got the data is a lot easier to assimilate. You can use the keeper data to really assess, you know, the sales volume and everything else like that. And so it is just such an easier platform to be able to identify, build and scale. So all in all, from every angle, it just wins. I always have that as something to check with eBay. And if I have to, I'll fulfill it from Amazon stock to eBay if I'm not going to be around. But yeah, it's a tricky one for me these days.
Right. It's coming up for 10 o'clock, guys. So I'll try and zoom through these questions real quick, because obviously we don't want to be going on 3.5 hours if we can help it. But so I'll try and go super quick. We'll do fast fire round now, Andy. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Matthew says, do you build a brand that is not on Amazon? If so, do you get an exclusive agreement to be the only seller of their product on Amazon with the brand?
Yes. So other brand owners that have an item that perhaps don't sell on Amazon at the moment, you're then maybe negotiating a deal to sell it on Amazon on their behalf. So that is one option. Another option is someone who is a wholesaler and has control over those product lines and doesn't want to sell them, have them sold on Amazon, and they are just giving you permission to sell on Amazon for those products. So it's various different ways of doing it.
Georgie says, what would be typical wholesale product rank range?
Sorry, repeat that again. I missed that.
Georgie says, what would be typical wholesale product rank range? So I think he's saying maximum BSR.
Oh yeah, again, that's a very difficult one. How long's a piece of string? It's a dynamic number. You need to have a look across a longer period of time. So yeah, and also it varies per category, and it's based on how many items in any given category. So yeah, that's an impossible thing to nail down on any given time. But I can explain in detail how you can use that to good effect.
So Faye says, when did you last fly economy? Our dream is to never do that again.
No, I do it all the time. If it's a cheap flight, I'm like, no, that's cool. I mean, yeah, I like to just get around as much as I can. So it can be. I'll never fly Ryanair or anything else like that. I made that mistake a few times, and that was horrendous. But other than that, I'm not. I don't necessarily need to be lying flat with a glass of champagne. But yeah.
I'll tell you what, I flew first class with American Airlines, and it was worse, in my opinion. Yeah, you can lay down, but it was worse than economy on Emirates, which is bonkers.
Yeah,
I can only imagine how good first class is on Emirates, because I think Emirates are amazing. But
yeah, Emirates are great.
Huh?
Emirates and Virgin on a relatively modern plane. It was a very comfortable experience, to be honest. On the long haul flights, they're not bad at all. They're quite comfortable.
I find Virgin's service is not quite as good as Emirates, though. Okay. I'll always choose Emirates over Virgin. If I had to choose the two, Emirates all day long. And my favourite airline. Obviously, I'm not going on them all, but BA, terrible. No, this is a conversation for another time, I suppose.
Off track.
It's my favourite. And beautiful blue and yellow seats that are kind of made of paper, and there's no screen on them. They don't feed you. Love it. Oh, the worst thing about Ryanair, they sit you away from your partners. They split everyone's partners up unless you pay 15 quid extra or something like that.
That's
like,
it.
Nah. Everyone's getting up there musical chairs. It's crazy.
Yeah. And you've got to fight for you've got no allocated room for your bag, so you've got to literally race and wrestle to put your bag up, and it's horrendous. It literally was the most stressful flight I've ever taken with Ryanair. It's like, not doing that again. Horrendous.
Right. Gid says, I have to run, but bloody hell, I want to get that. Thanks, Andy. You are the best.
Oh, awesome.
Mike says, got it. Gid says, Matt is such a nice bloke. Oh,
he is, isn't he? Isn't he a nice bloke? That's a revelation for me as well.
Oh, Matt, do you mean Kev? I mean, Matt.
Who knows? Nobody knows anymore. Who are you actually talking about?
I don't even know my own name anymore.
No. If I keep telling you Kev enough, then you'll be.
I'll never. No, I don't think so. No, I wasn't that far. Kevin's a nice lad, but I think I was him. John said, use some software to check supplier product lists.
Do I use software to check? Yes, I do. I use FBA Wizard, and you can upload Excel product lists, and you can use that to cross-reference against Amazon. It's a lot quicker to be able to find what you're looking for. There may be other softwares to do it, but that's what I use. It works all right. So. Yeah.
I am not a fan of FBA Wizard, but at the end of the day, this is Andy's show, not mine. So, but I think Tactical Arbitrage does that too.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I've not tried Tactical Arbitrage, so it's just what I use. It might be better. I don't know.
John says, "Do you use?" Oh no, I just read that one. Alan says, "Got to go. Great webinar. Thanks, Andy." Mandy says, "When will the course start?"
Starting on Thursday, so we've got a week while the cart is open, because some people need to have a think about it. Some people need to speak to people, sort out finances, whatever else like that. So we'll be open for a week. Then it closes, and the course will begin on Thursday, the 7th. That's when you can get access.
Be a weekly thing, so you're going to get a bunch of videos, and then a coaching call, bunch of videos, coaching call, bunch of videos, coaching call, and so on and so forth. And obviously on the Thursday, when the course opens, is the day when we'll be at the Spring Fair if you want to join us.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what a great way to open the day. Actually come spend the day with us, which is awesome. Norky says, that's probably too big a question for now. There's still a bunch of questions, so I'm going to skip over a few. I'm so sorry, guys, but obviously all of your questions and more can be answered on Andy's course. I hope you appreciate Andy has given a ton of his time, or as have I, to try and get through all your questions. We've done our best, but we can't make this a 4-hour job. you know, which is why Andy's put together this comprehensive step-by-step in the trenches training that he's built up a body of knowledge over the past decade or so, and he's distilled it down to the stuff that really works and really matters, and is delivering it to you on a plate. So, so get on the course, guys. Honestly, having met Andy a few times, and I chatted to him a few times over the videos just in the past couple of weeks. Like, we've spent hours and stuff chatting over video. He's a top guy. He knows his stuff. He's a really nice guy, and I suppose it shouldn't be me selling him to you, because you probably know who he is, unless you've come from my audience, and then maybe you don't. But Andy's a top guy, definitely trustworthy. Every time I try and talk to him about money, he steers the conversation back onto helping people, which is lovely, and it warms my heart. But I'm like I'm a businessman. Do you know what I mean? Let's talk hard cash. And Andy's like, yeah, but let's help people. So what I'm saying is, like, you're in good hands with him. He wants to help you. He wants to help you build your business. There's no way anybody's going to get me to say to him, I will help you for the rest of my life for one time. He said that. It's an oral contract. You can quote him. He said on this webinar, he said, you can talk to me for the rest of my life. If you want, in fact, I think I heard him say, if you want to message me every single day for the rest of your life and ask me a weird question, do it.
No, I definitely didn't say that. No, for sure, I did not say that.
Anyway, calling me Kev, do it to him. Send him the message.
And I said no marriage advice as well. We've got to keep it strictly. We've got to keep it strictly reseller based.
Yeah. So, but Andy is the man. Like, his channel name is Wholesale Help. He's been doing wholesale forever. He is the man when it comes to wholesale in the UK. And trust me. I know a lot of good people in this industry. And the vast majority of them are like, wholesale, no, too difficult, can't do it. But it's because they don't know what Andy knows. If you're ready to take your business to the next level and take it to where it needs to be, really, in 2019 and going forward, what with extra brand gatings, which won't touch you if you've got wholesale invoices, with penny under reprices, slashing margins and stuff. If you're ready to take things to the next level, then Andy is the right guy to absolutely show you the landscape, exactly how it works, how all the pieces fit together, the entire jigsaw, step by step, and put it together for you. And he's going to do that in a 5-week course with coaching calls, Facebook group, meet up at the NEC if you want to, optionally, and lifetime any conversation support.
Wow, that was energy right there. That was fire. That was awesome.
It's only 10 o'clock. We're just getting started. I'm kidding. No, we're about done. Let me get through more questions if we can. Like I say, we can't go on all night, guys. I hope you appreciate we've tried to do our best to make some damage on these questions. Right. Where are you hanging out at the NEC? I'm there on Sunday. Obviously, Barry, anyone that joins the course, will be letting them know how to meet us. And of course, we're happy to shake your hand and say hello, but we're going to be spending time, in-depth time actually helping and teaching and, bouncing off and networking and all that stuff with the people that decide to come from the course. Whether that's 2 people that end up coming, well, then that's a great ratio of instructors to students. But if it's 5 people or 10 people, it'll still be amazing. So it'd be great to see if you can make it on Thursday, cancel your plans. I don't know, give away your pets, do whatever you got to do to be there, because it'll be a fire day. Right, let's have a look. I just joined, missed most of it. Will there be a replay? Samaya says. You said yes, as long as Webinar Jam's not screwed up. Is that right?
Yeah. We're hoping to have a replay. You never know with these things. I've been let down before, but fingers crossed we'll have a replay for you, and you can catch up with what you've missed.
Cool. Kevin says, I've just stumbled across you in the last month. Funny that. And then he's put, I love this. And then Kevin's put, I'm in love.
Oh, wow. With who?
Hopefully with Kevin, not me. I mean, sorry, I am kind of, no, I'm Matt. I'm Matt Webley. No. I'm not Kev. He keeps calling me Kev. I'm Matt. Right.
Oh, this is just hilarious. I had so much fun tonight.
Good. Right, okay. Dave says that was good. Dave says, wow. I'd love to know what they're wowing at.
Oh, that was yeah. I remember seeing that pop up when I was talking about that potential conversation about overcoming potential wholesalers' objections, and getting to the point where you're having a conversation man to man, and you've got over the whole thing and into a comfortable position where you're just having a conversation, and then you can work it around to what their objections are, and having potentially say, okay, the objections is that and the other. Okay, so if we took out the competition, it would be okay. Yeah, competition is a problem. So if I was the only one selling it, then it would be okay, and so on and so forth. And then you can wind it around to an exclusive deal with a wholesaler potentially. And I think that was when I saw a wow pop up. Yeah, it's very powerful, very powerful. That on its own can make you a serious amount of money.
Matthew says, I live in the United States. Will the course have transferable knowledge to the US Amazon?
Yeah, for sure. There'll be transferable knowledge. It is aimed at the UK. There'll be tactics you can use. Like I said, there'll be US trade events, and the tactics are the same. But I don't have that much direct experience in the US, so yeah, a lot of it will be transferable. But it is more of a UK based thing, just because that's where my experience is.
John says, currently I have a full-time job, as I suppose many of the people watching this have got. How many hours do you think Amazon FBA requires? Not many. The beauty of this is it can be a very spare time business, can't it? Not even part-time.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I mean, that's the thing about FBA. They look after all the back end for you. So you concentrate on the important parts, which is finding the suppliers, finding the products, analyzing the products, shipping it to Amazon. Once you get good at it, you practice. It's a process. You initiate the process. You can scale, and then you can even use automation. You step back, and you can have a very lean business that doesn't need too much input into it. So yeah, for sure, not too much.
Beauty of FBA. Faye says, we can talk flying at the summit. Appears to be an in-depth subject. She's like,
yeah. Definitely.
Dave says, I told Ryanair it was like an in-flight flea market last time. Skid says, you guys are funny. Matthew says, you guys are pretty cool. Suresh says, thanks, Matt, for introducing Andy. No worries, absolutely. John says, thanks for your time, guys. Anne says, thank you so much. Darren says, quick question. Some suppliers won't deliver to residential address. Right, that's the last question.
Okay, last question. I haven't had that too much of a problem. There's not too many that would do that, but hey, be creative. The postman knows where you live. If you live at number 10, then you can be your business name, Unit 10, something or other. Try that, see what happens. Try it out. I don't know.
Sneaky. That's good. What a gold nugget to go out on. That's perfect. I love it. Amazing. That's great. Can you imagine that? Yeah, that'd work. I love it.
Yeah. Definitely.
Sneaky hacks. Right. Okay, so we're just over 2 hours now, guys. Just want to say a massive thank you from me for having me, Andy, and thank you to you guys for joining and stuff. And Andy, I'll let you talk. It's your webinar.
Yeah. I want to thank you, Matt, because you've been awesome. You've really helped out a lot over this last hour, because it's a lot to present everything and get through it all, and to get through all these questions has been really useful. So thanks for jumping on and doing that with me. It's been awesome. It's been a lot of fun, and we've had some laughs as well. So thanks, guys, for coming. A load of you stayed to the end. I appreciate you all coming and staying to the end and listening to the questions. It's a long time, 2 hours we've been on, and it's just been awesome. So I hope you've got value out of it. I hope I've been some help. If you can't manage the course right now, maybe we can do something in the future. But as long as you can get value out of it and make something out of your business, that's the main thing. Crack on. Use these techniques to build your business and see what you can do. If you can afford it and you can join us on the course, then I'd love to help you in your business, and really push on and make some successful wholesale resellers in the future. So thanks, guys, again for coming. And I look forward to chatting with you and helping you with your business very soon. And we'll wrap it up for now.
Lovely. Right. Yeah. So there's loads of thank yous, and I'll be signing up. Joe says thank you. So helpful. Be signing up. Yeah. It's been amazing. Really enjoyed it. Thanks for having me, like I say. And yeah, I suppose, what else do we say, Andy? Over and out.
Over and out. Thanks for watching.
I'll tell you what, we should finish it off with one last thing. I'll say, look, Andy's the real deal. Like, I'd like to think I'm the real deal. If you know me, I'm the real deal. But if you don't know me, you'll just have to take my word on it. I'm the real deal. I do this stuff. I don't do wholesale. I don't try and make out to do anything that I don't do. But I do this stuff. And I tell you right now, Andy does that stuff, and he does it well. Andy, a brief 5-minute conversation with Andy just pours so much gold nuggets and so much information and experience that it's honestly, this course would be worth 5 times the price. The fact that he's willing to put his body of work, basically what he's done for his career for the last God knows how long, into a package that you can consume and consume all of his experience over the last 10 to 12 years or whatever it's been, is an amazing, amazing thing that you couldn't have got once upon a time. You couldn't get somebody like Andy to do that. It's the power of the internet, the beauty of the internet. But anybody can just talk the talk. Not everybody actually walks the walk, and Andy walks it every single day. He knows his stuff. He's the real deal. And if you want to learn wholesale and take your business to the next level, then this course is the course to get. 30-day money-back guarantee. You'd be a maniac not to. Now, Andy doesn't talk like this. I'm a bit more like, I'm like an American. Do you know what I mean? I'll just say what I think. Whereas Andy's a bit more conservative. So, and I know he wouldn't do what I've just done there. But what I'm trying to say is I'm trying to convince you, or not convince you. I'm trying to eloquently put over the value that Andy's going to provide to you over the next 5-6 weeks, whereby he just transplants his brain into yours, but without all the heartache and all the learning and all the time and all the trouble that he's gone through. So get yourself on this course, private Facebook group, lifetime support, 5-week module, 5-week video course on wholesale, of FBA Academy teaching you online arbitrage and how to sell on Amazon. And on Thursday, the best bit, you get to meet me, my lovely partner, my lovely employee, Beck, and Andy live in the flesh in the Birmingham NEC. And he will actually go, look, there's a supplier. This is a supplier. Do this, say this. It's like, it'll be really cool. It's optional, but it'd be really, really cool. If you buy before Sunday, you can come on Thursday if you want to. Got anything more to add, Andy? Sorry, I've took over, but I knew you wouldn't. I knew you wouldn't push it like that. So I'm here to do dirty work for him because he's too nice sometimes.
Straight fire. I love the passion, though, Matt. I love the passion. Yeah, it's something I probably wouldn't go there, but I love the passion, and that's cool. And I appreciate it. I appreciate what you say.
It's all deserved, Andy. It's all deserved. It's all from a place of love, because I know I don't just promote anybody. I don't like in my group. I don't say, Go watch Andy's webinar. I don't do that unless I know they're legit. Do you know what I mean? Andy's legit.
I appreciate it. Darren, just quickly, Darren says offer closes in 9 minutes. I think that's a webinar jam thing. It's available for the next 7 days, so don't worry about that. It will stay open until, tomorrow.
Wednesday.
Wednesday
11, I think you said.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. Yeah. So don't worry about that. I think there's a webinar jam thing. So if you need to think about it, you have time to do so. Stephen says, goodbye, Andy and Kev. Good old Stephen. Classic Stephen.
I'm Matt. Anybody watching this, I'm not Kev. I'm Matt.
I'm going to screenshot that now.
Screenshot this bad boy. Does it make it memes or memes about me?
My name's not Kev.
My name's not Kev. That'll haunt me for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
I need to screenshot there for your peeps. Just remember to take massive action, Jamie says.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, I'm going because I've enjoyed this too much. I need to wind down before bed. I want to say a massive thanks again to Andy for inviting me, and I've been happy to help out and stuff. So, yeah.
Thanks again, guys. I really do appreciate it. It's been a massive pleasure to have you today. So thanks again, and we'll catch up with you soon, hopefully. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.